The Galactic Confederation's emergency session erupted into chaos as Ambassador Zulax projected the latest surveillance footage. The holographic display showed something unprecedented, a human vessel emerging from what appeared to be a self-generated quantum singularity, its hull gleaming with patterns of shifting light that defied conventional physics. "This cannot be possible," declared High Chancellor Venn, his crystalline form reflecting the ambient light of the chamber. "The humans achieved FTL travel barely 50 years ago. They cannot have mastered quantum manipulation at this scale." But the evidence was undeniable. The vessel, designated as QSV Prometheus by human authorities, had been detected near the Orion Arm's outer reaches. Its very existence challenged everything the Confederation thought they knew about humanity's technological capabilities. Admiral Kree, a veteran of 3 galactic campaigns, stepped forward. Her scaled skin rippled with concern as she addressed the assembly. "Our long-range sensors detected no conventional drive signatures. Whatever powers these ships, it's beyond our current understanding. The humans have kept this technology hidden, developing it right under our noses." The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. For centuries, the Confederation had maintained technological superiority over younger spacefaring races through careful regulation of advanced technologies. The emergence of these human quantum ships threatened to upend the entire galactic order. "We've intercepted transmissions," continued Admiral Kree, her voice grave. "They're calling it the Quantum Fleet. Initial analysis suggests these vessels can manipulate local spacetime itself. They don't just travel through space, they bend it to their will." The footage shifted to show the Prometheus performing what should have been impossible. The vessel created micro-singularities at will, using them not just for propulsion but as a defensive mechanism. Any conventional weapon or scan directed at the ship seemed to be absorbed into these controlled quantum events. Ambassador Zulax, representing the Science Council, cleared their throat. A sound like wind through crystal chimes. "We've confirmed at least 12 such vessels. They appear to be using technology based on principles we abandoned millennia ago due to the risks involved. The humans have somehow solved the quantum cascade problem that killed millions of our people during the ancient wars." Chancellor Venn's crystalline form darkened with concern. "How did they achieve this? Our monitoring stations have detected no weapons testing, no large-scale quantum experiments." "That's what makes this so remarkable," Zulax replied. "They developed everything in plain sight, disguising quantum research as civilian energy projects. What we dismissed as primitive fusion research was actually a cover for something far more sophisticated." The chamber erupted again as various representatives demanded immediate action. Some called for diplomatic isolation of human space. Others insisted on military intervention before the quantum fleet could grow larger. A few voices suggested seeking alliance with the humans, hoping to share in their technological breakthrough. Admiral Kree raised her hand for silence. "There's more. We've detected unusual quantum signatures from Earth itself. Whatever they built up there, it's not just a fleet. They've transformed their entire solar system into some kind of quantum engineering laboratory." The implications were staggering. Humanity had not just caught up to Confederation technology. In some ways, they had surpassed it. The carefully maintained hierarchy of galactic civilization faced its greatest challenge not from ancient enemies or outside invaders, but from a species that had achieved spaceflight less than a century ago. "We must establish contact," declared Ambassador Zulax. "Not through our usual diplomatic channels, but directly with their quantum fleet command. We need to understand their intentions." Chancellor Venn's form pulsed with reluctant agreement. "Prepare a diplomatic vessel. But be warned, if the humans have achieved this level of quantum manipulation, we must approach with extreme caution. They may have capabilities we cannot yet imagine." As the session concluded, the assembled representatives couldn't shake the feeling that the galaxy had fundamentally changed. Humanity had kept its greatest achievement hidden until it was ready to be revealed. The question now was not whether humans would claim their place among the galaxy's great powers, but what kind of power they would choose to be. In orbit around Earth, the Prometheus and its sister ships continued their patrols, their quantum-enhanced hulls shimmering with possibilities that the Confederation was only beginning to comprehend. Humanity's era of hiding in the cosmic shadows was over. The age of the quantum fleet had begun. The command center of Earth's quantum fleet headquarters hummed with activity as Fleet Admiral Sarah Chen studied the holographic display showing the approaching Confederation diplomatic vessel. She allowed herself a small smile. Everything was proceeding exactly as expected. "They took the bait," commented Dr. Marcus Wong, the theoretical physicist whose work had made the quantum fleet possible. His weathered face reflected the blue glow of quantum status readouts. "They're so focused on our ships that they haven't even begun to guess what the Atlas Protocol really is." The Atlas Protocol represented humanity's true technological leap, not just the ability to manipulate quantum states, but to fundamentally alter the nature of space-time itself. The ships were impressive, but they were just the visible tip of a much larger iceberg. "Status of the quantum lattice?" Chen asked, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "Full coverage across the solar system," replied Dr. Wong. "Every quantum node is operational and synchronized. If they try anything hostile, we can activate the full network in less than a picosecond." The quantum lattice was humanity's masterpiece, a vast network of quantum-entangled satellites and stations extending throughout the solar system. Each node could instantly communicate with every other node, creating a defense system that operated faster than light itself. Lieutenant Commander James Rodriguez entered the command center, his dark uniform bearing the distinctive quantum wave insignia of the fleet. "Admiral, the Confederation vessel is requesting permission to dock with QSV Prometheus. Their delegation includes their top quantum physics experts." "Of course it does," Chen replied. "They're desperate to understand how we've achieved what their civilization deemed impossible. Grant them permission, but maintain quantum shielding at all times." The meeting would take place aboard Prometheus, humanity's first quantum vessel. Its very existence violated several of the Confederation's most sacred technological principles, principles that had kept younger races dependent on their advanced technology for centuries. As the Confederation shuttle approached the Prometheus, its sensors tried desperately to penetrate the quantum field surrounding the human vessel. But the field didn't just block their scans. It reflected them back with subtle alterations, feeding the aliens' computers false data that would keep them guessing. "They're scanning the quantum field harmonics," Dr. Wong noted, watching the incoming data, "trying to understand how we stabilize the quantum cascade effect. Should we let them see a little more?" Admiral Chen considered the question carefully. The entire first contact scenario was a delicate dance of revelation and concealment. Give them enough to worry about, but not enough to understand. It's time they learned that humanity won't be constrained by their technological restrictions. The Confederation delegation was led by Ambassador Xilax themselves, their crystalline form containing more scanning equipment than diplomatic credentials. As they boarded Prometheus, the quantum field subtly shifted, allowing them to believe their scans were working while actually feeding them carefully curated data. "Welcome aboard Prometheus." Chen greeted them in the ship's conference room, its walls shifting with quantum patterns that made the aliens visibly uncomfortable. "I trust your journey was pleasant." "Admiral Chen," Xilax began, their tone carefully diplomatic, "your achievements are remarkable. The Confederation is naturally curious about how humanity has managed to overcome the quantum cascade problem that plagued our own civilization's attempts at this technology." Chen smiled, knowing that every quantum scanner in the alien delegation was working overtime to analyze their surroundings. "Perhaps the question isn't how we solved it, but why your civilization stopped trying. Humanity has always pushed beyond apparent limitations." The tension in the room was palpable as Xilax processed this subtle challenge to Confederation authority. "The quantum cascade effect killed millions of our people. We determined the technology was too dangerous to pursue." "Or perhaps," Chen suggested, "you simply didn't understand it well enough. Humanity's approach to quantum mechanics has always been unconventional. As if on cue, the quantum field around the ship pulsed, causing the alien scanning equipment to emit a series of alarmed beeps. Their readings showed power fluctuations that should have been impossible to control, yet the humans in the room remained perfectly calm. "The Atlas Protocol," Zylax said suddenly, their crystalline form vibrating with concern. "Our intelligence suggests it's more than just a fleet designation. What are you really building out here?" Admiral Chen's expression remained neutral, but her eyes held a glint of satisfaction. The Confederation was finally asking the right questions. "The quantum fleet is just the beginning, Ambassador. Humanity has learned to speak the quantum language of the universe itself. The Atlas Protocol is our way of ensuring we'll never be held back by arbitrary technological restrictions again." The implied threat wasn't lost on the Confederation delegation. Humanity hadn't just developed advanced ships. They had mastered fundamental forces that the Confederation had deemed too dangerous to control. The balance of power in the galaxy was shifting, and everyone in that room knew it. As the meeting continued, quantum signals rippled through the solar system's hidden lattice, carrying data faster than light, preparing humanity's defenses for any possible response. The age of quantum had truly begun, and humanity was writing its rules. The Confederation Council's private session chamber was in an uproar. 3 days had passed since the diplomatic mission to the Prometheus, and the implications of what they'd discovered had shaken the galactic power structure to its core. "The humans aren't just manipulating quantum states," High Admiral Kree declared, her scales now a dark shade of concern. "They've weaponized uncertainty itself. Our latest analysis suggests their entire solar system is embedded in some kind of quantum matrix." Chancellor Ven's crystalline form pulsed with barely contained fury. "They violated every safety protocol we established after the ancient wars. A quantum matrix of that scale could tear apart the fabric of space-time itself." The chamber's holographic displays showed the latest sensor data from Earth's solar system. What had once appeared to be normal space was now revealed as an intricate web of quantum entanglement, with Earth at its center. The humans had turned their entire star system into a quantum computer of unprecedented scale. Meanwhile, aboard the QSV Prometheus, Admiral Chen received the news she'd been expecting. "Confederation fleet movements detected, sir," Lieutenant Rodriguez reported. 3 battle groups approaching from different vectors. They're trying to surround the solar system." Chen nodded, unsurprised. "Exactly as predicted. Activate Phase 2 of the Atlas Protocol." Throughout the solar system, quantum nodes pulsed in perfect synchronization. The lattice that had remained hidden for so long began to show its true nature. Each node created its own micro-singularity, linking together in a dance of quantum manipulation that had never been witnessed in the history of the galaxy. Dr. Wang's voice came through the quantum comm, excited despite the tension. "The lattice is responding perfectly, Admiral. Every node is phase-locked and ready. Should we show them what it can really do?" "Not yet," Chen replied. "Let's give them one more chance to realize they're out of their depth." The approaching Confederation ships suddenly found their quantum sensors overwhelmed. The space around Earth's solar system seemed to fold in impossible ways, creating a barrier that no conventional weapon could penetrate. But it wasn't just a shield. It was a demonstration of power that the Confederation couldn't ignore. On the Confederation flagship, Admiral Kree watched in horror as her sensors tried to make sense of what they were seeing. "Impossible," she whispered. "They're not just bending space. They're rewriting the quantum laws within their sphere of influence." The human quantum ships moved into formation, each one surrounded by its own quantum field that linked to the larger matrix. They weren't just vessels anymore. They were nodes in a vast quantum network that could reshape reality itself. Ambassador Zylax, who had insisted on joining the fleet, felt their crystalline structure vibrate with understanding. "We approached this all wrong," they said. "We thought we were dealing with a young race playing with dangerous toys. But they've surpassed everything we thought we knew about quantum mechanics. The human ships began to move in perfect coordination, their quantum fields interacting in ways that defied conventional physics. They weren't using weapons in any traditional sense. They were altering the fundamental nature of spacetime around them. Admiral Chen's voice broadcast across all frequencies, reaching every Confederation vessel. Your weapons were designed to fight in normal space, following the laws of physics as you understand them. But within our quantum matrix, we define those laws. This is your final warning. Withdraw your forces, or we'll be forced to demonstrate exactly what that means. To emphasize the point, one of the human ships created a controlled quantum event that momentarily phased it out of normal spacetime. When it reappeared, it was simultaneously in 3 different locations, each version as real as the others. By all the ancient stars, Kree breathed. They mastered quantum superposition at a macroscopic scale. The implications were staggering. The humans hadn't just built better ships or weapons. They'd learned to manipulate the fabric of reality itself. The Confederation's technological superiority, maintained for thousands of years, had been rendered obsolete in a single moment. As the Confederation fleet hung in space, faced with power they couldn't comprehend, humanity's quantum network continued to pulse and grow, each node singing in harmony with the others. The shadow of war loomed, but it would be unlike any conflict the galaxy had ever seen, a war where the very laws of physics would be the battlefield. The quantum storms above Earth painted the sky with impossible colors as humanity's defense network responded to the Confederation's latest probe. It had been 12 hours since the standoff began, and the tension was reaching a breaking point. They're attempting to breach the quantum matrix near Jupiter, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported, his hands dancing over the holographic controls. Their ships are using some kind of resonance weapon we haven't seen before. Admiral Chen studied the tactical display, watching as the Confederation's third attempt to penetrate their defenses unfolded. The alien ships had arranged themselves in a complex geometric pattern, trying to create a disruption in the quantum field. "Dr. Wang," Chen called through the quantum link. "Are you seeing this?" "Fascinating," the physicist replied from his laboratory deep within Lunar Base. "They're trying to create a quantum cascade effect to collapse our matrix. It might have worked too, 1,000 years ago." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Initiate the Helios protocol." Throughout the solar system, quantum nodes began to pulse in a new pattern. The very fabric of space-time rippled as humanity's true defensive capabilities awakened. Each node began generating its own localized reality, creating a layered defense that operated outside normal physical laws. On the Confederation flagship, Admiral Kree watched in mounting horror as her fleet's most powerful weapons dissipated harmlessly against the quantum barrier. "How are they doing this?" she demanded. "No civilization has ever achieved this level of quantum control." Ambassador Xylax, monitoring the situation from the flagship's science bay, finally understood. "They're not just controlling quantum states," they announced, their crystalline form vibrating with revelation. "They're creating them. Each of those nodes is generating its own quantum reality." The human ships began to move in perfect synchronization, their quantum fields merging and separating in patterns that defied conventional physics. Space itself seemed to fold around them, creating corridors of altered reality through which they could move instantaneously. "Final warning," Chen's voice echoed across all frequencies. "Your weapons cannot harm what they cannot reach. Your sensors cannot detect what exists in multiple states simultaneously. Stand down, or we will be forced to demonstrate the full capabilities of the Helios Protocol." The Confederation fleet held its position, caught between pride and self-preservation. Then Admiral Kree made her decision. Launch the quantum torpedoes, all of them. Thousands of warheads, each designed to tear apart the quantum fabric of space-time, streaked toward Earth's defenses. For a moment, the vacuum of space itself seemed to hold its breath. Then humanity responded. The quantum matrix didn't just stop the torpedoes. It absorbed them, redirecting their energy into thousands of micro-realities that existed for fractions of a second before collapsing back into normal space. The display of power was both beautiful and terrifying. "Now," Chen commanded, "show them what we can really do." The Helios protocol activated in full. Every quantum node in the solar system synchronized, creating a cascading wave of altered spacetime that swept outward at faster than light speeds. The Confederation ships found themselves in a region of space where the normal laws of physics were merely suggestions. Their weapons wouldn't fire. Their engines wouldn't respond. Even their artificial gravity generators struggled to function in the quantum soup that humanity had created. "Impossible," Cree whispered, watching as her mighty fleet was rendered helpless not by weapons, but by humanity's mastery of reality itself. Dr. Wang's voice came through the quantum link, calm despite the unprecedented display of power. "We spent centuries studying the quantum nature of reality, while they focused on building bigger weapons. They never understood that the universe itself could be reprogrammed if you knew how to speak its language." The Confederation fleet hung motionless in space, surrounded by quantum fields that could rewrite the very laws of physics. Their choices were clear: adapt to a new reality where humanity was an equal player in galactic politics, or risk becoming obsolete in a universe that had suddenly become much more complex than they had ever imagined. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Confederation had never been so quiet. 2 weeks had passed since the Helios Protocol demonstration, and the galaxy's power structure was undergoing its most significant transformation in 10,000 years. Chancellor Ven's crystalline form had lost its previous luster, dimmed by the weight of recent events. "We have no choice but to recognize humanity as a full member of the Galactic Confederation, with all rights and privileges thereof." The admission carried a weight that everyone in the chamber understood. This wasn't just about adding another species to their ranks. It was acknowledging a fundamental shift in the balance of power. Admiral Chen stood at the center of the chamber, her quantum fleet uniform gleaming under the ancient lights. Behind her, a holographic display showed Earth's quantum matrix, now visible to all, its complexity both beautiful and terrifying. "Humanity doesn't seek dominance," Chen declared, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast space. "We seek understanding. The quantum nature of reality isn't something to be feared or controlled. It's something to be explored and learned from." Dr. Wang stepped forward, carrying a small quantum core that pulsed with inner light. "We're prepared to share our understanding of quantum mechanics with all species who wish to learn. The universe is vast enough for all of us to grow together." The assembled representatives stirred uneasily. Ambassador Zulax was the first to speak. "But the risks. The ancient wars nearly destroyed entire galactic sectors when quantum cascade effects ran out of control." "Because you tried to control quantum reality," Dr. Wang replied gently. "We learned to work with it, to understand it as a partner in creation rather than a force to be dominated. The Atlas Protocol isn't a weapon. It's a conversation with the universe itself." Throughout the chamber, quantum terminals began to activate, each one linked to Earth's matrix through carefully controlled entanglement. The representatives watched in wonder as their screens displayed data that would revolutionize their understanding of physics. "This is our gift to the galaxy," Chen announced. "Not the technology itself, but the philosophy behind it. Each species will need to find its own path to quantum understanding, but we're willing to guide those who wish to learn." Admiral Cree, her scales now a thoughtful shade of blue-green, rose from her seat. "And what guarantees do we have that humanity won't use this power to establish its own empire?" Chen smiled. "The same guarantee that prevents us from destroying ourselves, understanding. True mastery of quantum mechanics requires a fundamental shift in how we view reality. You can't control quantum states through force. You have to work in harmony with them." The quantum core in Dr. Wang's hands pulsed brighter, creating a miniature display of interwoven realities. "Look around you," he said. "Every particle in the universe is connected through quantum entanglement. We're all part of the same cosmic dance, The only question is whether we choose to dance together or stumble alone. Throughout the chamber, understanding began to dawn. Humanity hadn't just mastered a new technology. They'd discovered a new way of existing within the universe itself. The quantum matrix wasn't a weapon or a shield. It was a demonstration of what was possible when a species learned to work with the fundamental nature of reality. Chancellor Ven's form brightened slightly. Then let this day mark not just humanity's ascension to full membership, but the beginning of a new era for all species. The age of quantum cooperation begins now. As the chamber erupted in discussion, the quantum matrix above Earth continued its eternal dance, each node singing in harmony with the universe itself. Humanity had done more than prove its worth to the galaxy. It had opened the door to a future where the very nature of reality was a canvas for cooperation rather than conflict. The first human quantum ships were already being adapted into teaching vessels, ready to carry instructors to any world that wished to learn. The galaxy was about to change in ways that no one could fully predict, but for the first time in millennia, that uncertainty was met not with fear, but with hope. As Admiral Chen looked out over the assembled representatives of 1,000 worlds, she saw not conquered rivals or defeated enemies, but fellow explorers on the brink of an infinite frontier. The quantum age had truly begun, and its dawn would illuminate all equally.